Sorry. Jumped the gun there.
I have been a geek for my whole life.
I'm just basically a huge nerd.
The crowning achievement in my life when I was a kid was knowing more about Star Wars than my older brother. So. Cosplay is short for costume play, and it is where people dress up as or act as their favorite characters.
People identify with a character and they just love that character so much. And it's not enough to just wear a backpack with their face on it. Like, you want to be that character.
I was about 16 and a couple of my friends were like, hey, there's this convention thing. And we all kind of dress up and go there. Like, a lot of people dress up as characters. I was like, oh, that sounds really fun.
All of a sudden, I get there and there's costumers as far as the eye can see, and I felt like I was the only person out of costume, so I was like, I gotta do this!
The costuming community has a term for people who don't wear costumes to conventions, which is mundane. My uncle didn't want me to be mundane, so he put a little tunic on me, and I wore khaki pants with boots that went up, and he put a belt on me and had a lightsaber on it, and I was a Padawan.
I just kind of taught myself to sew. It's just from trial and error.
As soon as I learned how to sew a seam, I just could not stop sewing.
Last year, how many? I think I built 25 costumes last year. As you can see, the bottom is quite flowy. She has mechanical arms.
We say we level up when we make a really hard costume.
I spent over $1,000 on it. I'm not sure the exact total.
Underneath, I actually have a tutorial on how I made this one. Just knowing that something goes from, you know, in my mind to a sketch to a pattern to just this garment that I've created from nothing. It's a really cool feeling. I think there's been a really strong movement lately where women feel that they need to be portrayed better in comic books. A study in particular going around about the damsel in distress thing, about how women are always the plot point, not so much the main character. It'd be nice if more people demanded the opposite.
I think the biggest problem or difference that we have is with mostly just the older fans, and the older kind of community isn't used to having females in their community.
Oh, she probably doesn't even read comics, and I mean, it's really not that hard to pick up a comic book and read it.
I think everyone wants to belong to something. There's always going to be someone that gets left out, and nobody ever wants to be that person that's left out.
You have people now that are gatekeeping the fandom where they'll be like, these people aren't allowed to like this because they don't like it as much as I do.
There's this whole like real nerd thing that's going on, and it's baloney. I can understand that there is sort of an animosity for people who were probably teased for years for being a nerd, and then they finally find a community that accepts them. And then of course they don't want other people in that. As far as I'm concerned, the more people get involved, like the more fun everybody's gonna have with each other. Something that's really important to me is all the positive things that cosplay has done for me in my life.
I was that kid. I was that kid that nobody talked to because I had the giant glasses and I had braces on my legs and my hair is just a greasy mess.
I was different from everybody, and you know, maybe if I let go of some of these like passions that I had, maybe I would fit in a little bit better.
Because I didn't want to be anybody different. I just wanted somebody like me.
In just a short amount of time, I could have very easily become a different person, but I started going to these conventions and I started meeting these people, and they made me feel like I was awesome just the way I was.
I remember I was in, I think, a math class once, and someone came up and they're like, I heard you write Sailor Moon fan fiction. And I'm like, yeah? And they're like, so do I, and like gave me some of theirs to read.
Started making friends who were into the same thing, so I didn't feel as weird anymore.
To be able to express your fandom for something and be able to be like, wow, this is something I enjoy and so do other people, and to create something from it was just a really good thing to have.
Things have kind of blown out of proportion now, like getting invited to conventions and stuff.
I get flown to Mexico or to Russia. I started to have fans, which is a very odd experience when you're I just dress up as a cartoon character.
And he was just like, click, 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 and like flashes everywhere, and I was just like posing the whole time, and I felt like such a badass.
It's weird. I can't even, there's no other word for it, because I still feel like just that no-name nerd that sits in my room and sews all day.
I went from being this really awkward really uncomfortable in my own skin person to someone who I'm just very proud to be who I am.
I can't imagine being what people would consider normal. I would think them really boring. I like what I do.
The costuming community and the geek community in general had such a profoundly positive effect on me that I would love to continue to see that positive effect on younger people who are afraid of being nerds, but they can learn to be themselves.
Don't stop being a nerd. We're pretty awesome.
SoulPancake, subscribe!